Hello all, welcome to my YouTube channel. So in today's video we are going to discuss about Terraform Provisioners. So let's start. So provisioners are used to execute a script on a local or remote machine as part of resource creation or destructions. So let's understand from the example. So suppose we have created a EC2 instance, then what next? You have to install some web servers or some services you have to install on that machines. So that thing you can achieve with the help of provisioners. So you can remotely execute the script on a remote machine which can install the web servers. We will see in a demo. So the local EC provisioners require no other configuration. So basically there are three types of provisioners we will discuss in coming slides. So the local provisioners require no other configuration, but what most other provisioner must connect to the remote system using a SSH or WinRM. You must include a connection block so that Terraform knows how to communicate with the servers. So what does it mean basically? As soon as you create a EC2 instance, then what next you have to do with the help of provisioner, you have to execute the script or execute some command on that remote machine to install or to set up something. So before that, what basically a Terraform needs, it should connect to the remote server. So how you will connect the remote server? If you are using Windows as a remote server, then you have to use WinRM. If you are using a Linux based OS, then you have to use SSH. So to connect to the remote server, you must define the connection block if you are using remote provisioner. So types of provisioners. So Terraform includes several built-in provisioners. You can also use third-party provisioners as a plugin by placing them in the following directory or same directory where Terraform binary is installed. But as per HashiCorp, they don't recommend it using a third-party provisioners except the built-in one. So built-in one we have three kinds here: file provisioners, local provisioners, and remote provisioners. So what does it mean by local provisioner here? So the local provisioners work on the Terraform host where Terraform configuration is applied or executed. So suppose I am running Terraform code from my local machine. So that local provisioners run on my local machine from where we are running Terraform apply or Terraform plan command. On the same machine, this local provisioner will run. It will not run on a remote machine. So basically it is used to execute any shell command. It is used to set or read environment variable, details about the resource which is created, or invoke any process or application, etc. So we will also see this local and remote provisioner in the demo. So I hope it's clear. So basically local provisioners run on your host machine from where you are running the Terraform configuration. So this is the example of local provisioner here. So this is the resource block. So here basically what I am doing, I am going to create a EC2 instance. And this is the AMI ID, instance type, key name, and this is security group. So we will come to the security group part at end of the slide, why we need security group also. And here we have specified the provisioner block. So here we are using local provisioner, and this is the command. So there are some arguments which you can pass as part of local or remote provisioner. So what it does, what it's basically doing, it's after EC2 instance get created, it will basically fetch the private IP address. But this provisioner block will execute on the local machine where you are running the Terraform configuration. Next we have a remote provisioner. So the remote provisioner invoke a script on a remote resource after it's created. So basically as soon as your EC2 instance got created, then first it will try to connect to that host, then it will execute the script whatever you have defined in the configuration. The remote provisioner require a connection and support both SSH and WinRM as I discussed earlier. So to connect to the remote host, we have to use WinRM or SSH protocol. So this is the example of remote provisioner. So here I have not defined the resource block, but this connection block and provisioner block should be inside the resource block which you have to create. So here in connection block, what I have defined, type SSH. If you are using Windows based, then you can define binrm. Then user, so I'm using the U12 image, so I have defined as a user. If you are using, for example, Amazon Linux based AMI, then you can define user as a EC2 user, EC2 hyphen user. And this is the private key. This is the prerequisite for the remote provisioner. So we will come this part also in later slide. And this is the host, like public IP address for the EC2 instance. And this is the provisional proc for remote provisioner. Remote provisioner. So here I'm basically what I'm doing, I'm installing the nginx server and then I'm starting the nginx server. So these two commands I'm passing in the remote provisioner block. Third is file provisioner. So the file provisioner basically helps to copy files or directory from the machine running Terraform to the newly created resource. So for example, I'm running Terraform configuration on my local system and I want to copy some file from my local to the remote server like EC2 instance which is got created. So with the help of file provisioner, we can achieve this task. So, and also the file provisioner supports both SSH and WinRM type connections. So basically, if you are using remote provisioner or file provisioner, then you have to define connection block. If you are using local provisioner, there is no requirement to connect to the remote host. So you should not specify the connection block in local provisioner. It will not work. So this is the again the same resource block. I have connection I have defined here. This is the file provisioner block. So this is the source path from where I have to copy the content, and this is the destination location on EC2 where I want to move the content. So I hope it's clear, all three kinds of provisioner. Let's move to the next slide. So the connection block prerequisite. It is important to discuss the connection block. The file provisioner and remote provisioner both operate on the target resource that is created in the future, which means EC2 instance or any other services which you are going to create. So to enable Terraform to SSH into our Linux based EC2 instance, we need a couple of things. So two things basically we need. First, we need AWS key pair. So before we run the Terraform configuration command or we write the configuration for creating the resource, first we have to create a key pair in the AWS console. You have to manually go to AWS console and you can create a key pair. As soon as you create a key pair, it will download a file for you and you have to place that file in the Terraform directory from where you are running the Terraform configuration command. Or you can place in some other directory as well, but you have to specify the complete path. It's ideal to keep in that location. Next, security group. So security group is required because when you run that Linux based command, like you have to install nginx server, so basically it will try to connect to the over internet and it will fetch some basically data from the U12 based image which we are going to set up. So to access Terraform, access to EC2 instance, to get those details basically over internet, you need to define security group. So we will see in the demo. So these two prerequisite is required to set up a connection block for file and remote provisioner. So let's jump to the demo. Okay, let me clear the screen. So if you can see here, this is the provider block I have defined here. So I'm going to create a EC2 instance. So provider block is AWS and these are the regions, access key and secret to connect to the AWS. Then in the resource block, if I'll minimize this, so here I have two resource block. So one resource block is I'm using for create a security group and another resource group I am using to create a EC2 instance. So let's understand first resource, security group block, resource block. So this is the name and description. If you can see here, I have defined here ingress and egress rule. So ingress rule I have defined as HTTP port and CIDR blocks. So what I need this because we know nginx servers run on 80 port 80, so that we have to enable. and to SSH to the remote server we need to enable SSH port, which is 22. So those two rules I have defined, and egress I have defined here -1, if you can see, port 00, and protocol -1. Protocol -1, it means it's basically take all the protocol, TCP, UDP, all the protocols it will take. So it's basically over like open connection to internet, in simple words if I say, because it's allow all the protocols. So this ingress and egress rule I have defined here to create a security group. Now let me come to the next resource block. So here I have defined the resource block to create a EC2 instance. So here's the same thing, AMI instance name. Now you can see here key name. So this is very important thing. So let me show you key pair, how to create a key pair first. So if I'll go to my EC2 instance, network and security, you can see a key pair. So I have created a Terraform as a key pair. Oh, sorry, the name of the key pair is Terraform. So the same name which you create a key pair, you have to define in your Terraform configuration file. If it's not matched, then it will not work. So this is the key name which we have created here. And next thing, the security group, basically I'm referencing this resource with this resource block to reference the security group. So it will allow SSH port to interact with, to connect with EC2 instance. Next, here is the example of provisioner block, local provisioner. So I'm running the command to fetch the private IP address of this EC2 instance. Next, we have defined here connection. So connection type is SSH user U12 and private key. So we are using as a file because we have to include the terraform.pm file which we have created. So if I'll show you, let me create a one key pair. So I'll put it here name demo, and this is the format like .ppk or .pm. So as per your requirement you can choose and create key pair. So as soon as I have created a demo key pair, it is downloaded for my local system. So this similarly what I have done, I have created a terraform.pem file and I have placed in the same directory where I have terraform configuration file. Now, and the next, here we have the same as shown in slides. So these two commands I am running for remote provisioner to install the nginx servers. So let me run the configuration. So first we will run terraform plan command. So here we are going to create two resources, one for security group and one for web. So you can see plan 2 to add and 0 to change and 0 to destroy. Let me clear the screen. Terraform apply. So if I'll go to my EC2 instance here, I don't have any instance. Okay, I'll provide yes. So it start creating the security group first, then it will create the EC2 instance. So now you can see it's execute the local provisioner. The server IP address is, private IP address is 170.31. Let me verify it also. So let me refresh it. So if I'll go to private IP address, you can see 172.31. So same IP address we are fetching with the help of local provisioner here. And this is completed. If I'll go here in the connection block, we will see. So you can see it's downloading a lot of package from the internet. So that's why we have enabled the egress rule. So now you can see this is the connection block. It's executing, connecting to the remote host via SSH. This is the host IP because we have defined the variable public IP, and now you can see the status is connected. Once it's connected with the EC2 instance, then it starts reading all the packages and dependencies. Then it installs the Nginx server. So let me go to my EC2 instance. Let me copy the public IP address. I will browse it. So now you can see welcome to Nginx. So that's how basically you can use the provisioner in your real-time scenarios whenever you require. Because if you create a simple EC2 instance, then what next? You have to go to manually and you have to set up all those things. So this is just a demo purpose. I have installed a simple web servers. So you can achieve a lot of things with the help of provisioners. So that's all for today. See you in next video. Thank you so much.